Hello, I would like to inform you that what you're about to listen to are the views and comments from the host and guests and only reflect their own views and not the community as a whole. I hope you enjoy the podcast, and Eddie, play that banter section.
So, do you know how Asian I am?
How Asian are you?
So, I didn't realise, I was like looking in my kitchen, I said, do you know what would be a great idea? If I just paved the back of this cooker area with tin foil. And I left it there for a week or so. And then I looked at it again, I went, oh God, I've become that Asian. I've become that Asian. I mean, Chapman, have you done the same to your kitchen?
No, but then again, how Asian are you? You barely have rice.
I have rice every fucking day. Not this week because I've been busy, but I've had rice
every day, is it? Is that every day now?
Don't gaslight me, all right? Don't gaslight me. Oh, don't have a go at me like that. I don't like it when you do this to me.
Yeah, no, I don't do the tinfoil thing. I've got I have like a glass or laminated backboard, so it's easy to wipe down.
Yeah, but then if you just peel the tin foil, then it's easier. But do you ever get to a point in your life you look at yourself and go, "How did I become that Asian?" Oh,
I do. Yeah, I line my oven with tin foils.
Oh, I haven't done the inside walls, but I've done the tray.
What? Why is this a thing? I'm so confused.
Hello everybody, this is Ed Talk About Podcast, a weekly podcast talking about cosplay, Comic-Con and everything else. I'm your host Eddie. This week we are talking about, that photo's a bit gimmicky, right? Is it? Mm-hmm. Joining us on the podcast is Siobhan from Shield Photography and Chapman from, is it Betamax Photography?
Betamax.
No, it's not Betamax. VHS.
LCD?
Laserdisc? VCD. No, it's LP. LP Photography. That's right. LPC Photography. How can anyone get that wrong on a continual basis? And I did that intro in one take before anyone says anything. So, thanks, Siobhan, for writing professional.
No, hashtag professional.
Oh, sorry, hashtag professional.
Yeah.
I'm just happy I haven't been called food and cosplay this time.
I know. We got an internal chat, and I could just see that being posted in there. So thanks. Oh goodness! Look, it's been a long day. I've just come back from seeing Spider-Man. No, Across the Spider-Verse.
Was it any good?
How can I? Okay, it's not a good film.
Does it hold up with the...
It's a fucking great film. I loved it. I loved it. But just a quick synopsis. I fucking loved it. That's it. I would say if you have a slight interest in Spider-Man, go watch this film. It's the... I don't want to spoil it straight away. Of all the Spider-Man films I've seen, this is the best one so far.
Wow, that's pretty damn good.
It is the best. I actually found out earlier today. Of all the superhero films on IMDb's rated scores, Across the Spider-Verse, it's the top film at 9.1. The one next down, which it toppled, was The Dark Knight at 9 out of 10.
I mean, that's not hard.
Fuck off. The Nolan Batman films are the Nolan Batman films are the creme of the creme, and shut up. What's a better superhero film?
Literally any of them.
Fuck off.
Except for Batman vs. Superman, which is the worst 3 hours of my life.
So you're saying Thor The Dark World is better than any of the Nolan Batman films?
No, I don't...
You said any film. So I'm going with Thor. Thor The Dark World.
I would still watch that over Nolan.
So Siobhan's been banned from the podcast now.
Oh my god, that's a new time record, I swear. 5 minutes in. Yes. Perfect.
Oh my god, I don't know if I like this negativity from you.
Hey, give me a good Joker, like fucking the one from the game, and then I'm there.
Oh, what, Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, no. I've always said the different versions of the Jokers are what makes sense in that world. You can't have the exact same Joker in every multiverse, as it's now called. But at the same time, I know what you mean. Like the way that Mark Hamill does the Joker persona is so good, and it's written so well by the writers. Chef kiss. Yeah. But anyway, we're not talking about superhero films. We're not talking about Spider-Man films. We're not talking about this. We're talking about our photos getting a bit gimmicky and things like that. And we'll explain what that means in a moment. But as always, I shall do a 7-day checkup on my guests. So, ladies first, Siobhan.
Yes.
How's the last 7 days for you?
Good. I'm trying to think what I did. I came home from con on Monday. I slept all of Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I've just been to visit my dad for his birthday. So that's why I was driving this morning. I was coming home. But that's it.
That's fine. Okay, that's it. That's all. That's your
Yeah,
week.
it's just a chill week, really. Nothing
Chill.
too
Yeah,
exciting.
and when you say you come back from con, you did something quite different for a
did.
change. You
Yeah.
did. What did you do?
Actually went inside.
With your camera, taking pictures?
No, God, no. No, I didn't even bring my camera.
That sounded so dismissive.
God, no. No. I didn't.
It's like that. Yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say I didn't even bring my camera. Like, so there wasn't even a temptation.
Oh my god, it's like that TikTok said, God, who would we call at a Comic-Con with all these anime people? Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was
Jesus.
basically con mum for a weekend, which is nice.
I never knew as a photographer going inside was an option.
See, exactly. I spent so much money because I went inside, though.
See, that is the toss off. No,
Excuse me.
yeah,
Trade-off.
that's it. Trade off. That's the word. Why did I say toss off?
For
Toss. I think I meant to say toss up between
yeah.
spending outside getting stressed or going inside and spending money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm blaming on the hay fever. I'm going to blame it on the hay fever. No, but I mean, just briefly, you looked a lot happier doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's just so much less stress having to worry about other people.
absolutely, yeah. But you caught up with your last MCM photo backlog, right?
Oh yeah. That's what
All done.
MCMs, yeah.
All your cosplay photos are done.
No. They're never done.
Never ending. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Chapman, what about you? How's the last 7 days for you?
Good. Starting a new job. Got a ton of backlog of photos to edit.
What a minute.
Yeah. Surviving. And I didn't even go con.
Well, let's not discuss it. Why? Let's not discuss that. Why? Well, so as you can hear, we're recording this podcast 1 week after Comic-Con. When you hear this, it's probably about 2-3 weeks since that date. So, I'm okay. By the way, if anyone wanted to know, I'm okay. Cool. Cheers for checking in.
I thought that was an audience participation moment. I was like, oh, cool. Like, interact with the audience, and then you were like, I'm fine. I'm like, oh, well, shit.
I thought you were going to insert a voice snippet in there somewhere.
I'm not that good of a podcast editor. Jesus Christ. Anyway, what we are doing. So we are talking about. In the sense of photography, has photos become a bit too gimmicky with how photos are done nowadays? I'm actually not the one going to be driving this conversation per se, but I will chime in every so often. This idea came from my good friend Chapman. This was his little idea, his little question. So I thought he'll probably can ask us some questions, because I've done a few photos which you can argue a bit gimmicky and things like that. So I'll ask him this question first before he chimes in. I said, so Chapman, in your eyes, in your mind's eye, what would you say is a gimmicky photo? What did you mean by that when you made that statement to me?
Well, I think what I define as gimmicky is like something that someone does and everyone copies, like smoke bombs in the back of photos, and now recent surgence of like people taking shoots in water tank, and kind of like night shoots, light paintings, all of that kind of stuff. Like you see, like where originally like no one's done it, then all of a sudden there's a sudden boom of everyone doing the same thing. Is what I would define as gimmicky.
Okay then. Siobhan, do you feel attacked by that statement when he mentioned tank space?
Well, no, because I suppose the whole gimmick of tank shoot is being underwater, and I think a lot of it's so different from normal studio or out location shoots. So I get it.
No, that's fine. But do you find it? So I mean, based on what Chapman has said, do you find things like because you've done multiple tank space shoots?
Yep.
and probably various things. So, hang on, actually, before I move on to that, would you say also gel lights as well at Comic Con? When I say gel light, like coloured lights at a Comic Con or wherever location, do you call that? Would you include that as gimmicky?
No, I think kind of something that like not everyone does. Uh,
Mm.
so kind of like if you do light painting, I would say that's gimmicky, even though I do light painting.
Yeah.
But
And
like using
we'll explain
gel,
some of these. We'll explain some of these terminology in due course. So just in case if people go, what the fuck are these people talking about?
I'm going to talk
Um,
shop, and you have to all keep up.
we'll provide a list of glossary at the end. Just
Yeah.
click on the link.
exactly. But from what Chapman was described it as gimmicky, do you think tank space itself is gimmicky, or have you more importantly, have you seen since you've done it, everyone's gone, oh my god, Siobhan, where did you do this? How can I get
Oh,
involved?
yeah.
I want to do this. Yeah. So do you feel like you've been approached that way to, since you've like released photos that you've done a tank space shoot?
Oh, yeah, I'm forever getting, where was the studio? Where was this? How do I come to another day? And then, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to book in for this. Like, well, when can I book in? I'm like, no, it's I don't just pop there when I feel like it. I wish, but yeah, I think definitely especially like photographers as well. Like, oh, where's this? Like, oh, I want to do this, and you see more people doing takeover days and stuff.
Mm.
But I'm not against it. I'm not going to be like, oh, I did it first. Like, you can't do it. Like, it's just because I don't think I did do it first. But
No, I know what you mean. So I think I got invited in 2021, I think.
mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
But anyway, so I did that, and I was really excited because I had seen previous shoots, and it's always that thing for me that when someone does something, I'm like reluctant to jump on that train so quickly, because I hate when people do this to me when they go, oh Ed, I've seen you've done this. And like I've never spoken to you in my whole life. I can see the chat history and it's blank. It's just nothing. There's nothing before it. It's just, hey, but it's like, so when I did a shoot recently at somewhere, and they said, oh, I see you've done this. Did you need to get permission or that? I went, I'm the one that organised it. I just turned up. But I think I knew enough to give them an answer. But you just know straight away it was like, I think I'm a bit. What's the word? I always find it convenient when someone just messages you for the first time out of nowhere, but really it wasn't to say, "Hey, how's things? How are you?" It's straight away down the business. Where did you get all these details? How can it like, dude? A bit of decorum, a little bit of like humility. Just like, how's things? How are you? It's been a long time since we last spoke. By the way, that's a bit of like a banter, a bit of conversation type of thing. But yeah, but I will admit when I see things like that, I go, oh god, I'd like to be in part of that. But like, I think, like, I mean, Chapman, do you see those type of things and go, I want to do those type of things straight away, or is it something that you go, oh, I can see a lot of people doing that, and I'm like, ooh, it's like iffy about it.
See, I'm very neutral on this. If I find the right opportunity, I'll do it. If I find like a right cosplayer or right cosplay idea I have, or they have, and that I could see the idea itself, I want to do it. Then yes, I'll go full aboard. I'll plan with them, work it all out, and then organize time to do the shoot. But sometimes there are cases where I've had people that come to me like, "Oh, I've seen you done this. I want to do this for this," and it's like, I don't see the idea coming out well, or I don't see that it's actually thought through, I'll decline it. So I'm not always the one to jump on board immediately, but after some persuasion, I could. But then again, there's sometimes I will turn it down.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever turned down an idea. Maybe I have actually, but yeah. What about you, Siobhan? Have you ever like turned down an idea? Because the one thing that popped into my mind about these type of things, because I've always said about like Comic Con and finding the right location. Because okay, I don't want to keep saying this, but I have to say it in this instance. I hate the grey walls at MCM London or at the Excel, because it seems like everyone uses it as the background, but I don't think no, don't get me wrong. they are nice photos in front of the grey walls. And for a handful of photos, it really works well. But sometimes like having like a Disney princess and a lovely background, you want to see the full head to toe of the outfit, and all you get is like a midriff head shot against a grey wall. It's like, oh, that's a bit dull. And I just feel you're not being inventive enough. And do you ever think when when someone like comes along to those tank shoots, you look at it, and obviously I wouldn't want you to out anyone, name anyone, or name the outfit, but do you think, oh, I don't think that's going to work underwater, or whatever shoot you ever done, Siobhan?
Oh, so yeah, underwater obviously you has to be very careful with what you put in the tank. So some people like go, oh, I want to shoot this underwater. I'm like, okay, well, you're not allowed these 6 materials in the tank, and they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, like for one, you can't put sequins in there. You're not allowed. So people are like, oh, I want to put this like really sequin, like, mermaid's tail in there, and I'm like, no, they physically won't let you. So there's logistical reasons that you have to kind of be like, no, sorry, but like, I've had people like, oh, I love the shoot you did down in the beaches and stuff, because I've done stuff in like Cornwall and whatever. And they're like, I'd love to book one in. When are you free? And I'm like, I am not local. We spent a week down there shooting. Like, Cornwall is a good 6-7 hours.
Oh. Cornwall is in the middle of literally nowhere. Literally. I think in the politest way, it should just be renamed Nowhere, because you get no signal.
Yeah.
You get nothing down there, but lovely countryside, lovely. Like, if you want to know what 1920s England used to look like, go to Cornwall. In the politest way. That's what it feels like, because it's so back to basics, so natural, so wholesome environment. But honestly, people like us who are glued to our phones, to our internet and things like that, seriously, sometimes I do miss it. I'm going, what's happening on my TikTok? Is someone liking my stuff? Things like that. Oh, who's bad mouthing me? Jesus Christ! I thought so when I started doing light painting. This was like many years ago. When I get inspired when I go onto things like Instagram and things, and I see things, I think, oh, that would look good. Oh, this studio will look great. So there's a neon lights place I really want to do some photo shoots with. I think both from a cosplay view and then for my alternative photography blog. But again, I feel like I'm jumping on someone else's coattails because I've seen someone else does it. But also there are some things I see about you, like I was saying, getting the right outfit. If you're doing it for cosplay, I always think get the right outfit for the right occasion, type of thing, the right style. So the one I did was... so light painting basically is the technique is called, basically what you do is you open up the lens. So when you take a picture, you tell it to say, take a picture within like a hundredth of a second, and then everything's in like pretty sharp, enough light has come in, it's pretty freeze frame, things like that. And if you open up the lens any longer, you're sending it, open up the lens so that it takes in more light, but then you invite in motion blur, things like that. So the longer you have it, the more motion blur you get. With light painting, you want that motion blur, and you want to have as little sensitivity in the lens, so that the more light that comes in, it kind of builds up the layers of light. And because it builds up the layers of light, the motion of light, that it looks like this, it would have been this one blob light, actually turns into a circle. And what I do is I got a steel wall, and like bits of sparks come off, but when you fling it, it looks like Doctor Strange's teleportation wheel. I've been meaning to do that with a Doctor Strange, but obviously because it could catch on fire, the person nearby, it'll take a brave person for them to allow me to do that with them. But when I did it with a costume called Livewire, which was their character was electricity, and I thought that would really work together as this, spark of that with their character. Now, if you said to me, can we do that with a Barbie outfit? I'm like,
sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, no. If someone said, can we do it for the Flash? Like it's moving down the street. That's been a project in my head for a long, long time.
That'd be sick.
That would really be sick. But if someone said, can we do it for I'm trying to think. Let's say Red Dead Redemption, cowboys and things like that. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it will fit the vibe, the tone of it. So I think what I'm trying to say is that I try to make sure that if I do things like that, I make sure I get the right costume, the right vibe for it, rather than just going, I'm good at this, let's do it for every costume. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. That's my entire thinking process. That's why I turn down cosplay idea shoots. Because if it doesn't fit, I don't see a point in doing it. Like, I don't mean I don't see a point as in being rude, but I just don't see it coming out the way we want it. And I feel that it'll be a waste of time to edit it because we know that we won't get the results we want.
Absolutely, and then I think sometimes cosplayers need to take the advice from us photographers, because as much as you think it's the vision you like to appear in your photo, we as photographers might have to go, oh, I don't know if that's going to fit stylistically, because we know how it works. We know what we can picture that in our head as much as you can picture it in your head, because you think, oh my god, this is a jump on the bandwagon type of thing. Sometimes in our heads, I just think, oh, I don't think that's going to work. Like, could you, like, Siobhan, do you think, have you, I don't know how to word this without you getting into trouble.
Oh,
but,
oh no.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm always up for an argument.
I see.
Yeah. But, I mean, have you actually advised a cosplayer not to take, if they fit the criteria that they can dunk it into the water, do you advise them saying, maybe not that costume?
No, we kind of leave it up to, like, as long as they fit the criteria, so they're not going to ruin the tank, and then we don't get in trouble. I'm pretty open for whatever character they want to do, because in the end of the day, it's their clothes that they're getting soaked, and their wig essentially is what they're kind of.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been like, no, you have to be this character. I will always suggest, like, this would be sick, like if someone did this.
Yeah.
There are characters I'd love to see, but I'm not going to be like, meh.
No, that's fine, because there's times when when I'm talking about light painting, because Chapman, you said you've done this.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
if you want to chime in afterwards. There's times I want to actually not use steel wool, but actually use my no, they're not called lightsabers. They're called light sticks. That's it. Use my light sticks as to paint the cosplayer, but you need to actually have real darkness, and also a camera that can open up the lens for at least 15 to 30, if not longer, depends what you want to do. But basically, I've got a big example of light painting. If you ever watch TV and see the Aurora sky, the green type of what's the word? Haze, spacey haze in the sky. That's light painting, because if you ever see it in real life, it's fucking dull, but in pictures looks amazing. So anyway, so light painting. So yeah, I want to do that light painting with actual lights rather than a flame, should we say, an open flame. So it's, but like I said, I want to get the right thing. Like I with the Spider-Verse films coming out, I've now got an idea. I want to do one with maybe with a Spidey person, like either Spider-Man, Silk, Spider-Gwen, people like that, and just really go for it.
Oh, I think he'd be really sick for like cyberpunk and things like that. Like, I always get that sort of LED kind of vibe from it.
Well, for me, I think it's any character can be light painted. So I put in 2 examples I've done. So I don't know if the audience will see it. Feel free to post that later, Eddie.
I can put that. I can put that in the description. So that's why there's a little air gap in.
Yeah, we're
in
looking at pictures like, ooh, pretty.
So
pretty.
I've done light painting. So like this character is from Genshin. They don't really have light elements. So one uses water element, and the other is like a cute undead character. You don't really associate light with it. But kind of you can go around it, but then again, at the end of the day, does it fit the character, or will it work with the character is the main problem. So I'm lucky, kind of like I went the route where I went for like the cutesy side for the undead character. But like there are cases where I've done light painting and I've just at the end of like, it doesn't fit. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. It's the same with like smoke photography. I've used smoke grenades in some photos. Like some turn out great, some like yeah, it doesn't look that great, or the smoke just doesn't work with you. The same with the water tank. So I've done some water tank photos. I've recently done water tank photos again with some friends, and it's a great experience. But there are some photos which just doesn't work well, because either like how people are posing in the water because of how hard it is to actually do water tank doesn't suit, and I kind of like have to say, oh, unfortunately that photo doesn't look good. And then there are some photos where I've just given them like, hey, these are the photos, please pick the best ones. They'll pick the ones that are we would don't expect you would pick because it's completely different. So we see it kind of like it doesn't work, but the cosplayer might. So kind of it's always hard to judge, but I want to also kind of like, I feel like I'm rambling, but sometimes I want to say, no, that might not work. And kind of like, I would want people to understand that sometimes like these gimmicky things don't work for all cosplays. They only work for some.
Mm. I find there's like as well, it goes both ways. It's not just cosplayers going, oh, I also want to do like, I don't know, the smoke thing or the LED lights, whatever. But there's also like, I feel like some photographers, naming no names, like go, this is my thing. This is the thing that I do, and you're like, why? Why does this character have smoke behind them? Like, it's cool that you have smoke grenades, but that doesn't work for any of them. But okay,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I completely agree. Like, yeah, smoke grenades are cool, but it
Oh
doesn't
god,
work for
yeah.
the character, baby.
Or at least if you're going to do
Yeah.
a smoke grenade, make sure the color is correct for the character. Like
Oh yeah.
that, there's nothing more annoying than like you see, I don't know, if you had Iron Man and you didn't use a red smoke grenade, like what are you doing? Or a white one, but like it just makes no sense when some characters have a yellow one in the background. It's like, but the character has no connection to the color yellow at all.
I know what you're saying. So I will have to admit, I did fall into that trap of using a smoke grenade for a shoot. That probably, if I now think about it, no, I know I don't have to really think about it. It just didn't shoot. It not didn't shoot. It didn't work well with it, and I have posted it since. So if you ever look back at my work, it's the Ember Wolf with Jinxie Dragon as How to Train Your Dragon, Toothless, and is that Light Fury?
Night Fury.
No. No, Toothless was the Night Fury, and then you got the White Dragon, which was the
Light
Is it
Fury,
Light
yeah.
Fury? Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, that's all right. And I think I just had I think with the person I was like crashing at, they said, "Oh, I've got some smoke grenades. Would you like to use them?" And oh, I'd love to try that. I'd love to give that a try. So I said, okay, cool. So I gave it a try, and then just used it. And then at the end of the day, I went, I think I did walk away thinking, oh, that's not how I want it to look. And now that you're talking about it, I'm now thinking about it. Oh, actually, no, that didn't really work. That didn't. Yeah, that I probably should. I think, in all honesty, I should have just left it and just not gone, not just use it for the sake of using it. So I think probably since that day, I've gone out my way not to do things like that. So I know I said Chapman was going to drive some of these questions, but I keep coming up with questions. So for you, Chapman, when you see these type of things like light painting, tank shoots, smoke grenades, and things like that, you said you're very neutral about it, but do you see it something like, oh, I don't want to be jumping on that bandwagon because everyone else would be jumping on that bandwagon?
I wouldn't say that. Like, I'll jump on that bandwagon if it fits. That's it. Like, so my friend came to me recently with an idea of, hey, I want to shoot Howl's Moving Castle, and I want to shoot Final Fantasy 15. So if you haven't played it, sorry, spoilers. One of the character dies underwater.
No! Carry on.
But yeah, so these were ideas that are great because one, it suits the theme of water. Two, it kind of like it suits the entire setting and the backdrop. So like for Howl's Moving Castle, there's a lot of scenes where it's like floating in the air or kind of like flying in the air, falling through the sky, which the water is a good substitute to it. It creates that same effect. And also kind of how you, depending on how you edit the photos, it could create a very nice and dreamy effect as well. So these are like really great ideas. But I've also kind of like had times where someone came to me like, oh my god, I want to do a water shoot with you, but I want to do this night costume, full armor, which I was like, no, because it doesn't suit the environment of being underwater. And two, you are going to drown in your armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah.
Really not is. I think I'm very conscious for myself. The only reason I asked that question because I'm very conscious myself that I don't want to be seen about jumping on the bandwagon because everyone else is doing it. Because I have seen some really good smoke bomb shoots, and I've got, I would love to try that, but I think part of it is that I need to understand better the techniques before really diving in further. So I'm going to admit something out loud, which I don't think I've ever told yourself, Siobhan, or Lydia. So I'm going to don't take this in a negative way when I say this. I found tank space boring.
Oh, interesting.
Because the day that we had it, there's three of us in the. So the way it works is you get literally a giant fish tank, and then a black tarp tent around the front of the tank. The pool itself is lit, but the inside of the tent is just blackened as much as possible. Because there's three of us in the tent, it made it very hard to like kind of get the right angle without either getting someone else in the frame and then you have to etch them out and things like that. So I just end up just going, do you know what? You guys who've been here before knew kind of what you wanted and how to deal with it. Great. I'll just stick myself at the back and just click away. So from a creative point of view, I got very bored.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also, when I came to edit those photos, eventually when I got my new laptop, I think I looked at them because it was such a long time since from those photos of buying a new laptop. I looked at my photos and I went, "Oh my god!" Sorry. As soon as I said, "Oh my god," I sound like TikTok. Oh my god, is that what you're into? Oh my god. But I just kind of went, "Oh my god, I can't believe I did it this way, and I'm allowing all these bubbles and things like. How am I going to deal with that? Do I accept these bubbles and things like that? It's the way that I edit, the way I would edit any cosplay photos, in normal air at a Comic-Con or at a location. Will that suit a tank shoot?" And after now looking at your photos, Siobhan, I've gone, I don't think my technique really suits tank space as well. So I've gone, I think you do need to look at, as a photographer, you do need to look at yourself and go, I need to put the research in to see if what this does works for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think there's too many people who would think it's just point and click, go, done. My style will fit this style. I went, I don't think so, because the way you've done your photos, I'd like you've really put the dark tones in. You lift the lights up so you can see the rays of light hitting that person and things like that. You've really made sure that there's in a sense, a pseudo vignette around object on person, whereas mine just looks like everything's lit, everything's fine. It's an endless sea of water, which I'm don't get me wrong, I'm proud of those photos that I've done, but now looking at your photos, comparing the two, I can't look at I can't help but look at mine and think, oh, mine's a trash.
They're not trash. Oh my god.
No, you know what I mean, but like you can't help but look and examine and all that. So it's
personal style does definitely have a way with it, because every photographer shoots differently. Like, we've all shot tank, and even if we were all there at the same time, we'd probably have very different images.
And I think you've fallen into the problem of you're your own worst critic.
Oh, 100%.
Because I'm the same. I look back at old photos like, oh my god, did I shoot it like that? Really?
Oh god,
what was I thinking?
Oh, so again, I know I've said this many. Sorry for the podcast listeners who've regularly listened. I've heard this story many times, but during over pandemic, I've got nothing to edit, so I'll just go back to old photos, because I've always said that I want to see if I would edit this photo in the exact same way as I did first time round. And then when I would pick a photo, pick the raw, put that to once, put the edited photo I did originally to one side, so I've got a reference afterwards, but don't look at it to reference it, and then see how I edited that. And like, it is totally night and day from how I edited it then to how I edit it now. Well, I say now, went into 2020 and 2021. I did it for about a year and a half. And some of those photos look absolute garbage when I did it 5-6 years ago compared to now. And I'm just going, why did anyone shoot with me? This is absolutely horrendous. I was like, what the fuck happened to me? And I'm glad I've improved. I've always said it's a mark of us good photographers, not how good they are now. It's how they would like to improve themselves in the future. Because I don't think any photographer, would ever look at them and says, I'm an unfinished article. I've got this bang on. It's like, no, don't be stupid.
There's always room for growth and trying new things, which is always good.
100%. So yeah, I want to open up to Chapman now to ask like some further questions because I feel like even though it is my podcast, I think I've taken over. So I'll leave it to you for a second.
Yeah, so so the whole idea was this is just because I saw the huge sudden boom of after doing a water tank shoot, like other people are posting about doing water tanks or having done water tanks. The same with like I've shot before with someone in the rain, and then suddenly there was this huge sudden boom of cosplayers shooting in the rain or their cosplayers are wet, and like you see the water trails around them. Stuff like that, and then kind of like since the start of Cos Expo, there was a sudden huge boom of smoke grenades because a few cosplayers did smoke grenade photos. So kind of this got me thinking, what is everyone's opinion about doing this? Well, Eddie's covered most of it, but like, so with this, do you feel that you want to start a new gimmick and keep it to yourself sometimes, or do you kind of find and see ways where you could create this new style, or do you feel like you want to follow the trend sometimes?
I'm going to let Siobhan go first before I chime in.
I think it depends what it is, and again, it does depend if I can think of a character or a scenario that would fit it. So there is sort of, I remember like the back in the peak YouTube days, like YouTube photographers, where everyone started editing in orange and teal, and you go, oh, I'll try that. I've tried editing stuff like that. It doesn't suit my work, so that's why you never see it. But yeah, I do see some, like the first Cos Expo and people doing smoke, that we did go, oh, that would be cool. And then we did do smoke shoots as a result of that. But I'm not going to be like, this is now the only thing I shoot, I think is the difference. I'm happy to try something. And if I go, oh, that was cool, and then move on. That's the difference, I think.
To follow up on that question, have you ever thought about or tried considering there's this idea I want to start as a gimmick and carry it on? Have you ever had that thought? Like, so the first person who did smoke grenades, you might think, oh, I now want to be the first to do light paintings, or I want to be the first to use this certain technique.
I've personally not done that. I think I've. I'm trying to wear this without. I think I've ended up with a gimmick that was an in joke to begin with, and now it's become like a thing, which is the whole shrub by shell, because I just shoot people in trees and nature a lot. So there is kind of a gimmick in a sense, but I'm not going to be like, hey, that's my thing. You can't ever shoot anyone with leaves in the vicinity of them. So I've never actively gone, this is what I want to be known for, if you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying, especially when you don't want to be, when you find something that you do quite well, you don't want to be known for that all the time. It's like, I now think I do lightsabers quite well, but everyone knows I hate fucking Star Wars. So I don't want every Star Wars cosplay to come up to me and go, oh, you do that so well, can you do that with my fat man? Yeah, sure.
I can, but I don't want to.
Why is that, Eddie? Is it because you're a Star Trek fan?
I generally am a Star Trek fan, but I just find the franchise just so dumb, and it's like and I will have said this on the podcast. I said I watched it as an adult, not as a child, so I never got that kind of like childhood glee of like the fantasy adventure of it. I think I'm less fantasy orientated type of person, more science fiction, science fact type of person. So I can see like people carrying tablets, for all their daily needs. I can see one day starships going into the stars and traveling at the speed of light. I can see that type of thing. Space fantasy like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and I know that's not science fiction, but like those type of fantasy, they don't interest me at all. Right, so have you? Sorry, can I now butt in? Or was there anything more you want to say?
No. Okay, no problem.
Okay, so it's quite interesting what Chapman said about the lead up to the question. So I find when I see something I like, oh, I like that technique. I've seen, I want to use that technique for myself. I kind of half scour the cosplay photography scene and see if it's been done elsewhere. And I feel like, oh, no one else has done this. Right, that's me. That's the thing for me. I'm going to be the one to like, not saying hoping to kick off this trend or this gimmicky look, but deep down I kind of went, yeah, I want to be known as the first, or at least amongst the first, type of things like that. So I will admit something right now. I said I was trying to describe something early in this podcast, And when I said it out loud, or when our guests tried to like half not say it, but also give me a clue that they knew what I was saying, but the words was enough to go, those who know will then go, oh, I can easily Google that. And I was like, I'm going to edit that bit. I'm going to edit that because deep down, that place I want to shoot at, I want to shoot there first. Because I feel like if I mention out loud to say, let's say this, I want to shoot at the Barbican. I want to shoot. It's very like concrete, straight lines. So it's kind of got this noir, futuristic, dystopian look to it. Now, if I said online, oh, I want to shoot there with this Blade Runner-esque or Cyberpunk 2077?
I have no idea.
Is that the...
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Good. Oh my God. Jesus, I really feel like I've got Alzheimer's at the moment.
Don't worry. I just repressed the memory of working on it.
Fair enough. 2077. I feel like if I said that loud and I didn't get my butt in gear quickly enough to find, a cosplayer that would do this and then meet me there, and they're like, someone else would go, oh, I like that idea as well, but I can get that quicker than he does, and then bam, they've taken that idea. I'm going, oh, but I wanted to be the first. So I'm not suggesting that I'm not willing to share per se. I'm willing to share once I've done it myself, at least for the first time, because then at least I can go, oh, I've done it, I've learnt this, or oh, that failed, but I'd like to try again. If someone asks me, oh, well, how did that go? I can then advise it, but also deep down, I don't want someone to nick my idea first.
Oh, I had something recently similar to that where I shot at a location near me, and I had 3 photographers message me going, where is this location? And I just gave the vague answer of Buckinghamshire. Because I was like, I'm not giving you the address. I worked hard for this location.
And is that real location like somewhere completely different?
Oh no, it's in Buckinghamshire.
Oh, sorry, tap nose, wink, wink.
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
Buckinghamshire. Yeah. But you'll tell Ed the real location, right?
I tell people I trust.
Time to Google reverse image search.
Yeah. I've done that to people. I've actually done that. Before St Dunstan's, which is a gimmick in itself, was like everyone shot at St Dunstan's. I was like, oh my God, I really want to shoot here, and this guy wouldn't tell me, so I reverse Google image search him.
But I tell you something. So you talk about St Dunstan. So this was discovered about just after the pandemic, I would have said, or was it just before pandemic kicked in?
I've shot there
just before.
Yeah,
I've seen
just before.
St Dunstan's around 2018,
God.
19.
Okay, so that's about first. So this from this point of view, it's been 5 years. So I started hearing about St Dunstan, and because it's only like a short train away, because it's definitely off-site. You can get a train. It's basically
it's an old church.
I wouldn't say. I was going to say old church. Derelict?
It's not derelict.
It's ruined from the war.
It's a church that got bombed in World War II, and it's now a heritage. Is it? Is that the term?
Sorry.
I
Yeah,
think so.
probably. But it's at least it's protected of some sort. Yeah. And once I've heard 1 or 2 people have done that, I probably would deep down would love to go there. But because I've seen now so many people going there, I don't want to be seen to be following the crowd like a mindless sheep. No disrespect to anyone who have gone there, followed others doing that. That's up to you. That's your thing. If you feel like that will work for me, great, go for it. What you do and what I do is nothing to do with me. We're too different. You do you, boo. But back in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to be copying anyone else's work. I don't want to be seen to be like not able to come up with my own ideas or things. I don't know. That's kind of like my own mindset. I like to discover things myself, which is such a backwards thing of doing. It's such a backwards way of like dealing with life from time. And yeah, as I said, I would love to shoot at St Dunstan, and I think I will do it. I think we did kind of half mention it for a location shoot, but not during Comic-Con time. I hope you understand what I mean by, that I don't want to be following the crowd. I mean, does that resonate with you, Chapman, about like what I just said?
Oh yeah. So kind of like the whole St Dunstan thing. Surprisingly, shooting kind of like the night shoots or the boudoir shoots in hotel rooms as well. Kind of, unfortunately, I was the one that kind of started that. But it's kind of like after I did a few of those, kind of like people started doing it more and seeing it more, and kind of like I feel that it's very gimmicky as well.
So I'm going to admit something to you, Chapman, then about cosplay boudoir shoots when I see it from other, not just from yourself, but others as well. And I don't want this to be an attack on you or anyone, but I think when I look at those type of shoots, I don't think it's got the right vibe. I think it's got such a, I don't want to use the word cheap. That's the word, but it
I
keeps
think
coming to my head.
amateur
But it's
Wow,
yeah, that's it. That's the word.
how
Thank
dare
you.
you, Eddie? I feel insulted. How could you say it's
Let me-
not a joke? Yeah,
No, thank you. But no, but you know, so it's like it's got this amateur look to it, but I'm not saying, but I have seen hotel shoots done so well, but I think I can't put my finger on why it has this amateur look to it.
I think it's more because of like where the hotel is, and because it's at a con, it's not going to be the most best hotel there is. Like, think about all the hotels around there. The only like fancy hotel I would say is the Sunborn, like the yacht hotel, and that's only from judging
What yacht? What yacht? Sorry, what yacht? What yacht? I don't know. What was this? Where's this yacht?
It's the thing that floats on water, Eddie.
What? What? I've never seen this boat on the side of the XL. Is that really there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have to keep my eye out for that one.
I
Jeez.
genuinely couldn't tell if you were being serious or not. And I was like, please tell me who that is.
I shot there for the first. No, hang on. Whilst I remember, the first time of all years, people were allowed to shoot on the Sunborn on the staircase. Every year I've asked, they've gone, no, sorry, no.
Yeah, I heard people were fine
And
with it this year.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? How the what change? I wonder if it's because it's giving them free publicity. Like right now, we're giving it free publicity. Anyway, carry on, Chapman.
Yeah, it's just I was saying, like at first when it first starts out, everyone feels like, oh my god, it's really cool. But as it goes on, you'll start to pick flaws on it. So like the smoke grenades now we do, or the water tank, or light painting. It looks cool. It looks epic. Everyone wants to do it.
Yeah.
But give it a few years when like everyone's done it and had its run, you'll start to pick flaws to it. You'll think, oh, that looks cheap, or that doesn't look good. It's the same thing with like the whole boudoir shooting in hotel rooms. It's just give it time, it'll run its course, and then people will start to pick flaws of it. Like if some people keep doing it and they'll perfect it, they'll come out amazing shots. But because it's kind of like a slight gimmick, there's a small amount of people that will be able to perfect it, but people keep doing it so that the photos that keep coming out of it will always have this like cheap or amateurish feel.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all hotel boudoir shoots are cheap and amateur. I have seen some stunning photos, and I will include myself that I've done cheap amateur shots in hotels. I'm not excluding I'm including myself in that. I've done some like shoot, and that's why I'm very selective when people say, "Oh, can we do a hotel shoot?" I'm like, if you're going to do that shoot, I want to get the right location of the hotel. Again, I've got one or two hotels that I've seen that I would love to hire out. Like you said, like the Sunborn at the XL. There's another one, again, I'm going to keep this one to myself, that I've gone, I really want to shoot there because the stock photos they use of their hotel, I'm like, looks so good. It's going to look good for both cosplay boudoir, normal boudoir, my alternative photography that I've got my branding on. Go to hkc.com if you want to know what that's about. HKC phonetically spelled. Not trying to promote myself, but yeah, it's sorry, I did that so badly that plugin, but no, yeah, I think there's just a bit of there's a lack of planning because I think people, like you said, people are trying to jump on the bandwagon while the iron's hot, rather than going, I don't care if if this fad is just a fad for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. If I'm going to do it, plan it right, do it right, and I think people will appreciate the quality, not how fast the photo was done.
Yeah, I mean, also, if you want a good recommendation, check out the M Hotel in Shoreditch. It's a great place to shoot.
Making notes.
Throwing that out there to you and every photographer listening. If you want to do good boudoir shoots, a good room is the M Hotel in Shoreditch. This was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay then, cool. All right, definitely. Actually, that might be the podcast we talk about in the extra. The Ed still talks about as was mentioned by Charlotte Warrich. We'll talk about we'll talk about location shoots that we have personally have been to and can testify great place to shoot and all that, and reason why it's a good place to shoot. Oh god, everyone's just reading going, oh god, do I want to give away my secrets? Oh no.
I'll share my
We will
locations. Like
Yeah.
I'll share my location.
I have no fear. Like the way I shoot photos is the
Yeah.
way I shoot photos. You could copy my location, you can't copy my style. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
New challenge: try and copy each other's style.
I fear the day that someone wants to copy my style.
I already suffer from it. Everyone calls me food and cosplay at Comic Con already.
Oh, everyone calls me Paper Cube. That's why I do those stupid TikTok videos of going, "Hi, I'm Eddie, I'm food and cosplay." Then someone else
the origin was.
jumps in. Yeah, that was kind of it. It was like it was a play on I am Spartacus, the very first video, and then also half a joke about everyone's confusing me with me and every other Asian photographer. I keep saying that if I was going to change my name from Food and Cosplay, I was actually going to change my name to That Asian Photographer.
Oh my god.
Which Asian photographer?
Can you imagine if That Asian Photographer? So can you imagine if this cosplay goes, oh, who are you shooting next with? That Asian Photographer. That's oh geez, you can't be saying that, man. No, they're called That Asian Photographer. Oh. So
Look,
yeah, I keep saying this story on the podcast again. Forgive me for saying it one more time.
If you change your name to That Asian Photographer, I'll change my name to The Other Asian Photographer.
Well, you should be this and that. This one. That one. That'd be so funny.
Oh my god, we should so do that. We so should do that. Oh my god. Was there any other questions you wanted to ask us about gimmicky photos?
The silence. The silence is real.
Well, yeah. I just
don't feel for. Yeah, go on.
I had a few questions. I feel. How would you describe as a gimmicky photo is the question, because I've said how I describe a gimmicky photo, but how would you describe as a gimmicky photo? Because like for you, Siobhan, I don't think you'll describe a water tank as a gimmicky photo, or Eddie won't describe like light painting as a gimmicky photo. How would you define it then? And what would you define as a gimmicky photo?
I think I'm going to reuse a phrase I just said. I think if it just looks rushed and cheaped, because like I said, I've seen, I'll say it there. I've seen some great smoke bomb shoots, and like the smoke is thick. It's got a deep color to it. It's very sharp. It's it's just and when I did it, it looks so bad. It's like the smoke is faded. It's not thick. It's not got depth to it. There's no shading to it. It just looks like someone just farted blue smoke into the sky, and that to me is like a bit gimmicky. It's like, I've tried and it failed. I would say that's a bit gimmicky because it wasn't done properly. It wasn't done. But I think it's really hard. I think in my mind, this is why I threw the question to you to push it, because I don't know personally. I would say any photos I've seen out there, I would say gimmicky. But I just think it's not, in my eyes, probably planned well. I think people just dive in thinking, I will just copy that and not really think about how they should plan it.
I think gimmicky for me is, like, I remember, I mentioned this earlier, the YouTube days, like, when, like, Brandon Wolfel used to use fairy lights and everything, and then suddenly everyone started using fairy lights, and then people would use, like, prisms and things, and I see prisms coming back out a bit at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, let this die. Like, I've tried using it, like, I've given it a go, and I've just like, it's just not for me. But like,
yeah. But I think if you see it done well,
oh yeah,
do you still think gimmicky, or do you think, oh, that's done well, or do you think both?
I think both. I think it's like, oh, that's a really good prism shot, but like, it's still a prism shot. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
it's like doing like certain bokeh and like with fairy lights and Christmas lights and stuff. You're like, that is a gimmick in a sense, but it makes if it makes sense in the context, like you are doing a Christmas shoot, Christmas shoot, and you're using a shallow depth of field, then fine, that would naturally happen. But
no, absolutely. I think for me, it's one or the other. It's either it looks badly done, badly planned, or it looks stunning. and that's what makes it for me a bit of a gimmicky jump on the bandwagon type of photo.
Yeah, if gimmicks are done wrong, then you're like, oh, you're just doing it because it's the new hot thing rather than actually contributing and excelling and you're not elevating this technique.
100%. I mean, does that resonate with you, Chapman? Does what we said has that changed your opinion? What gimmicky means, or are you still on the what your early statement was? That is it.
It's still pretty much the same as my early statement. It's like doing what everyone's doing. There's a sudden boom of everyone doing the same thing. That's what I define as gimmicky. Because if it's not something that you would do regularly, then it's just something you do like a one-off or two-off, or you do follow for a week and then not do it. I feel it's a gimmick because you're just copying everyone else, or it's your interpretation of it, but it's still a gimmick.
Yeah.
But if it's something you do regularly, so like with Siobhan doing the water tank stuff regularly, I wouldn't say that's a gimmick for her. That is her style. So for me, kind of like I do a lot of light painting. So I do a lot of night shoots, light painting. And then for me, I don't really would say that's a gimmick. But because I play with smoke very shortly and then I stopped, I would say my smoke photos are gimmicks.
Do you think it's very much like jumping on that like people jump on TikTok sounds, like you have to be in that wave or that's it? But if you do it like, it's like if everyone started doing baby photography or something, that would be a gimmick. But if that was actually your livelihood and you were doing that every day anyway, then it's not.
Yeah, if it's something you're doing every day, it's like something you're trying to perfect. I wouldn't say it's a gimmick. But if it's something you just like, everyone's doing it, I'll join the bandwagon so I could chase the clout, then yes, it's a gimmick.
What would you say is like the current gimmick going around?
Oh,
that's what I want to know.
I personally can't think of it.
That's why I asked.
Can't think of it. Yeah, because it's like I said, it depends when people pick up certain things. Like I thought seduncing was like just before or just after pandemic, but everyone's saying, oh no, that was that's even further back than that. So it depends when people pick up on these things.
I'm gonna say the neon lights that was at MCM.
Yeah, I was thinking the neon lights.
Because
those.
I've seen neon lights photos like from Eddie for a while ago, and then suddenly there was a huge surge of people doing neon lights. Then and now people are doing neon lights again because of that stand.
Yeah, no. Okay, so my neon lights was done in central London. Funny story. So where I did those, I'll go into it a bit further. But basically, it's a porno shop, but it's not a porno shop. It's a restaurant disguised as a porno shop. So, okay, quick funny story. So, me and the model at the time, we walked in and said, can we just get changed, or can we just put our stuff here for a little bit? That's fine. Whilst we were standing and waiting, a couple came in and said, is this a porno shop? And they went, no. It's actually a disguised restaurant. You have to go downstairs for the restaurant. It's apologies for that. And then, okay, goodbye. And I just burst out laughing because like you're innocently thinking it's one thing, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with porn. But it's just that being caught out like that, I wanted to go in and just see some naked people. I
don't want to eat real food. I want to watch people. Yeah.
Gyrate and jiggle.
Did you then also add Magic Mike's down the road, mate?
Yeah. I think I know what is another trend that's gimmick that's going around at the moment.
Go on.
Lens flares.
How the fuck do you do that?
You mean the artificial ones? Or actual? Oh,
yeah.
Is that done in post or done in camera?
Bit of both. I think mostly done in post, but I've seen a few people, and it's like the light isn't coming from there. Why is there a lens flare?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. One more thing before I want to add this in very quick before we end the podcast because we are dangerously running out of time. Would catching the golden hour bit gimmicky?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I think that was gimmicky.
Well, I'd say if that's something that you constantly use, no. But if it's like one or few shots again, yeah, it's gimmicky.
I first learned of golden hour through like influencers. And I was like, ooh, this is good. I like this.
Yeah.
But I don't
And-
actively seek it.
Yeah. A lot of things that I try to learn, I've learned from either through influencers or I'm going to a name drop. I'm going to name drop Kevin Pack. He so when I did my yearly birthday shoot, we couldn't shoot at a certain studio, which I'm sure people can work out which studio it is, but we'll talk about it in the podcast extra. But we shot at his studio as well, and he came up with some different use of lights, and then also a projector to project an image on the back wall and things like that. And I thought, oh wow, that's quite good. But I've never done that, and this is the first time I've ever done that. So would you then say that's gimmicky because I've only done that once?
Would you do it again?
Yes.
Then probably not.
Okay.
Mm,
Oh.
yeah, I agree with what Siobhan said.
No, you can call me gimmicky. I don't mind, but I will
No,
shut
it's
you down
because
very quickly.
I'm taking to considering of if you would do it again,
Yeah.
and will it be something that you would want to learn and kind of perfect?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if it's something you'll learn and perfect, it'll be your style rather than a gimmick.
Mm.
But if it's a thing that you do like a once and done, then
Abs-
that's
yeah.
a gimmick.
Absolutely. So what I learned from that day, so there was like, those when people got those two-tone colors of like blue and purple.
Mm-hmm.
I've now got lights now that will give me RGB lights. They're big, like size like iPad light panels. I got them off Kickstarter finally after a year. The brand is the product's called Slite, Slite. I actually haven't used them myself per se. At the moment, I'm using those bedroom lights.
Oh my god, amazing!
But they're so good because I can set it so that it can do like it can pretend it's a fireplace, a police siren, lights, a TV, a fireplace. As I said, fireplace, haven't I? Fireworks. It can pretend to be fireworks.
Oh, that's cool.
I know, it's so cool. So like, if you're doing videography, this will look amazing. So, but I can't wait to use it. But now that I've like seen how it's done in a studio type of way, if I ever do a home studio shoot or take it to maybe a friend's place and they want to do something similar, at least I'm able to do something like that as well. So, but yeah, so yeah, it's something I would like to do more of, but it's just finding the right opportunity to do it. If they said, "Oh, I'd like to do a home shoot," then I know what to do now. As in before, I was like going, cosplay boudoir shoot.
I'm just proud you got lights.
Pardon?
I'm just proud you got lights. You're starting to use lights now. I'm just proud.
Oh, shut up, you. Fucking hell. And on that bombshell, I'm going to end the podcast. Oh, God. Anyway, as I mentioned, we're going to jump onto the podcast extra. The Ed still talks about. We're going to be talking about locations, shoots that we've done, and we're happy to like tell and explain why we like it. But I just want to say thank you, Chapman. Thank you, Siobhan, for being on this podcast. Thank you for like talking about Chapman's topic. If you've got a topic idea, and I feel like that'd be great, let me know. I'll get you on the podcast because if it's your idea, you should be the one that be appearing on it as well. So do let me know. But yes, I hope you enjoy the podcast. And I just want to say, Siobhan, where can they find you on the social medias?
You can find me everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. To find a list of all of them, you can go to linktree.com/short photos.
Fantastic. Chapman, where can they find you on the Betamax? Sorry, not on the social medias.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter as LPC for shit, I forgot it.
Do you want to try that again?
Wait. So you can find me on social media as LPC Photography or on Facebook as LP Cosplay Photography. There we go.
You're not as bad as Charlotte Ward, who always forgets her Twitter handle, even though she knows this is coming and she doesn't pre-prepare for this. Yes, I'm calling you out, Charlotte. Come and get me. Come fight me.
She will. She will.
She will. I know.
She will fight you and she will win.
Oh, she will win. She's a feisty little girl. No, she's not little, but she's a feisty girl. Oh god. If anyone needs to find me on the social media and cancel me, if you go to foodandcosplay.org/links, that's where you'll find my social media links. If you go to foodandcosplay.org/podcast, you'll find previously recorded podcasts with these two people, other guests, other subjects. If you go to foodandcosplay.org generally, you'll find daily cosplay photos I upload and articles that I write. If you go to patreon.com/foodandcosplay, you can help donate £2 to help make these podcasts. But on top of that, as I keep mentioning, I'm making these podcasts extra so that it rewards the people who are putting £2 in. I would love people to sign up, just drop me a like, drop me a comment to say, yes, I've heard this one. So if you do listen to even if you don't listen to it, just drop me a just quick comment to say, thumbs up, I'm listening, I've got it, cheers. And things like that. So I'd be really appreciative. But on that note, I'm gonna end the podcast. So thank you very much. So on that note, thank you very much for being on the podcast, Siobhan and Chapman. And on that, what I usually say is that I'm gonna say goodbye, and they're gonna say goodbye. So bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Reboot.
I'm laughing at when you don't.